Okay, let's talk about something we've probably all felt at some point. You're doing everything you're supposed to, eating right, getting some exercise, but that number on the scale just refuses to cooperate. Man, is that frustrating. So if you feel like you're spinning your wheels, putting in all this effort without seeing any real change, you are definitely not alone. It can seriously feel like you're missing some secret piece of the puzzle. Well, guess what? You might be onto something. It turns out there are two major, often invisible factors that can completely sabotage your progress. So in this explainer, we're going to dig into what they are and, more importantly, what you can do about them. But hang on, before we jump into those hidden keys, we have to get on the same page about the most fundamental rule of weight loss. It really all comes down to one core idea. And that idea is the calorie deficit. Just think of your body like a car engine. It runs on fuel, which for us is calories. When you use up more fuel than you put in, your body has to find energy somewhere else, and it turns to its backup tanks, your stored fat. That's it. That's the basic mechanic of weight loss. Sounds simple enough, right? So why is it so incredibly hard sometimes? Well, if that calorie deficit is the main rule, what's breaking it? Let's meet our first hidden saboteur, sleep, or really a lack of it. And this isn't just about feeling a little groggy. No. Poor sleep actively wages war on your weight loss goals by trapping you in a really nasty, vicious cycle. And the numbers here are kind of shocking. Research shows that adults who get less than 7 hours of sleep a night have a 41%, that's right, 41% higher risk of obesity. That is a huge connection. And it tells us that sleep isn't some luxury. It is absolutely essential for managing your weight. And this isn't just a simple cause and effect thing. It's more like a domino rally. Not getting enough sleep sets off this chain reaction of hormonal changes and behavioral shifts that just feed into each other, making it harder and harder to stick to your plan. So let's look under the hood at what's actually going on. When you're sleep deprived, a couple of your key hormones just go haywire. Ghrelin, which is basically the feed me now hormone, goes way up. At the exact same time, leptin, the hormone that says, okay, you're full, you can stop eating, takes a nosedive. The result? You feel way hungrier than you should, and you don't feel satisfied even after you eat. So what does this hormonal chaos actually look like in the real world? Well, it can lead to eating an extra 500 calories a day. Just let that sink in for a second. That's more than enough to completely cancel out the calorie deficit you worked so hard to create at the gym or in the kitchen. And from there, the dominoes just keep falling. Your tired brain starts screaming for quick energy, which means you crave high-calorie, sugary foods. Your willpower is shot, so your portion sizes get bigger and you start snacking late at night. And to top it all off, you're just too exhausted to even think about working out. It is the perfect storm for gaining weight. All right, on to our second hidden enemy, and it's a close partner in crime with poor sleep: stress. Yep, just like a lack of sleep, chronic stress can quietly and systematically tear down even your most dedicated weight loss efforts. It really boils down to a coping mechanism. When we're stressed out, our brains are desperate for a quick hit of comfort, of reward. And what's the fastest, easiest way to get that? For a lot of us, it's food, especially those high-fat, high-sugar comfort foods. It's classic emotional eating. And this is not some rare thing. It's incredibly common. A wild 43% of Americans admit they overeat specifically to deal with stress. That means nearly half the people out there are adding unplanned calories to their day because of stress. And here is the real kicker. These two saboteurs, stress and poor sleep, they're connected. They feed each other. High stress makes it harder to sleep. Then, when you're sleep deprived, you're even more stressed out and less able to cope. It's this dangerous feedback loop that can really trap you, pushing you to eat more and move less day after day. Okay. So that's the problem. We've identified the enemies. Now for the most important question. How in the world do we break out of this cycle? The key is to stop fighting a chaotic battle and instead build a smart, structured plan. And a great framework to start with is this 5-step approach from the CDC. See, this isn't about some miserable crash diet. It's about building habits that actually last. First, you figure out your why, your real motivation. Then you get a baseline by tracking where you are right now. From there, you set small, doable goals, not huge ones. You find people to support you, and then you just check in on your progress and adjust. This is how you build a positive cycle. Now for the food part, let's make it simple. Instead of thinking about good foods and bad foods, just think about frequency. This guide is perfect for that. Your main goal should be to fill your plate with things from that choose most often column. We're talking fresh veggies, whole grains, lean proteins. The stuff in the middle is for sometimes, and the stuff on the right, that's for rare occasions, not every day. And here's a super simple visual trick for getting your portions right at every meal. No measuring cups required. Just picture your plate. Fill half of it, the whole half, with vegetables. Then fill 1/4 with your lean protein and the last quarter with whole grains or starches. That's it. It's an easy mental checklist to build a balanced meal every single time.
So at the end of the day, breaking out of that loop of stress, bad sleep, and weight gain means you have to zoom out and look at the whole picture. It's not about fixing one single thing. It's about taking a holistic approach to feeling better.
And it all comes down to these 4 pillars. And they all work together. It's not just diet or exercise. It's a balanced diet and getting regular activity and making 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep an absolute non-negotiable and actively finding ways to manage your stress. When you start treating all 4 of these as equally important, they support each other, and suddenly weight management starts to feel a whole lot less like an uphill battle.
Look, we've covered a ton of ground, but real change always starts with one small step. So I want to leave you with a question to chew on. What is the one tiny change you can make tonight? Maybe it's putting your phone away 30 minutes earlier or doing 5 deep breaths before bed to start building your own healthier, more positive cycle.